I agree with that a lot. I think about you and me, people who chose to like leave office work to work for ourselves. And for me, at least, a huge part of that was because of burnout in the office workplace, right? And so I was like, great, like I'm just going to be responsible for myself. I'll be responsible for my overhead. I can control the things I want to control. It came with its own set of stress. But working for myself from home is 100% a coping strategy for like a burnout from a different part of my career. And I was really naive in believing that, the burnout would not be an issue moving forward, because I was like, okay, I've controlled who I work with, how I work, what I work on. And it turns out that, it's like it's always around the corner if you're not vigilant about every single area of your life. And that has been a huge adjustment for me.
Yeah, in some ways, self-employment is a lot better. But in other ways, it's like, the calls from the bad manager are coming from inside the house,
Right. Your manager is bad. You are your manager. Welcome.
Exactly. So, yeah. And I think that's why I mentioned that thing about like friends as a accountability system and as like a very loving, supportive check on this for me, because, whereas you can't always, just shift the expectations of yourself when you work, for someone else. It is something that like, I have a little bit more flexibility to do and you have a little bit more flexibility to do. And I really don't take that for granted. Honestly, I feel grateful for that. Every decision that we get to make for us, I feel really good about.
Oh, I feel very good about that. And it's also, I also just feel good in general that burnout is something that we are talking about more and more. And also that, like you and I at least are lucky to be in spaces where we can be open about it, because I think that going through it is already such a painful experience. And if you did not know that it was an occupational phenomenon that affects a lot of people, it would be really hard. I used occupational phenomenon because that's how it's classified by the WHO. They're like, it's not a disease, but it's definitely an occupational phenomenon that impacts the health status of people around the world. I'm like, if it's good enough for the WHO, who am I to think that I am not, that I'm like not going through it right now? So it's like sometimes I'm so cynical about, like big like conceptualized like syndromes or whatever. And in this case, I'm like, no, this is actually very helpful. And again, it helps you to deal with the workism and like workaholism that so many people have. And to just say, well, you're trying your best and it's not working. It's not because you're not a good worker. It's because what you are trying to do is it's not the best use of your mental resources and it is depleting. So hello, welcome. People have it all around the world.
So where does ambition fit into all of this?
That's a good question. I find I just been going back and forth a lot, about what, like really drilling down for myself what ambition means, because I think that there was a point in my life where I really confused working a lot and working all the time with ambition. I was like, okay, if I'm working, then I'm ambitious. And I was like, that's not true. That's actually not true at all. And you know me, like we are dictionary people. So I had to like go back to the dictionary definition of ambition. And all it says is a strong desire to do or achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. I'm like, determination and hard work does not mean work all of the time, which is how I had really internalized that. And it is obviously true that even when burnout is just starting, any desire I have to do the work that I used to be really excited about, or, like any eagerness I had or enterprise or like determination to do that work just goes out the window. And so